Hello. Hello. Let's get going. Um, okay, so while I wait for my people to come back, I'll be speaking on the do's and don'ts. Welcome back. If you are in, let me know. Drop your chat, say hi in your chat, so I will know that you can hear me clearly. It's very important, so we don't just keep talking without having without knowing that people can hear us. So if you can hear me, do let me know, please. Can you hear me? Do a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up if you can hear me. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So we go into the do's and the don'ts of the speaking test. That speaking test is to show the examiner you can speak in English. They will weigh your ability to speak in English at that point in time. Thank you, Sister JD, Sister JK. I appreciate. So there are things you must do to be in the good book of your examiner and to earn you the band score we are targeting. And you know, in this academy, we are targeting 9 to 7 or 7 to 9. Nobody is allowed to score 6.5. Even if what you need in any of the modules is 6.5, you are still not allowed to score 6.5. So we are encouraging you that you push up as much as possible to ensure that you get 7 or 8 or 9. And I've told people in this academy that we've actually had candidates that scored band 9, and that's the highest you can actually get in IELTS. We've had candidates that scored 8 across the 4 modules. So these are not new things. They are not strange to us. They are like the water that we use to bath here in our own academy. So that's what keeps us hydrated. They are the oil, our lubricants here. So what we do is the do's in IELTS. So in IELTS speaking, I will first go with the do's, then I will let you know what you should not do when it comes to the speaking test. So in this speaking test, you can actually use fillers. You can pick your answer, and while you are going through it, if you forget something, instead of going silent completely, you can use the words like can say, let me see, for instance, something like that, so that you keep that time instead of remaining completely off it and then it affects your fluency negatively. It's good if you keep it going by using fillers, but then don't keep using fillers consistently. Like you don't have any other thing that you want to say. I attended international school at the University of Ibadan, and that was in year 2002, and between 2002 and 2004 I had to move to Baptist High School at Oritame. You know, there are some unnecessary fillers. There are fillers that would appear to your examiner that you were just trying to bring in your words. There are fillers that will appear to your examiner that you completely lack idea. You don't know what you want to say. So you will not be in the good book of your examiner for doing that. Bear with me. Sorry, baby. You want to run back to Annie and take watermelon? No. What do you want then? Go to Annie. She's going to give you. Sorry, my people. I've got my tiny feet around. So that is that. You can use fillers. And so you can also, it is advised that you use contractions. Don't, not, do not. So, won't, no, would not. Haven't, not, have not. Hasn't, no, has not. So learn how to use contractions. When you use contractions, it shows that you are talking like a native speaker. It shows that you know what you are saying. And because that speaking is not completely formal like writing, you are allowed to use such words. And it will improve your points, your band score, if you can actually bring in contractions into your speaking rather than using the full words. But when you now get to writing, you are not allowed to use contractions in your writing because that is a formal writing. It's not like, this speaking test is like you are doing one big man interview stuff, and you should project yourself in such way to that examiner. You should also use, when you get to your part two, where you will have the long turn. And I told you that you will be given a cue card. In that cue card, you will have your big question and you will have some suggestions on what you are to speak, what you want to discuss in that place. What you should ensure that you do is to use the 1 minute. You'll be given 1 minute to prepare your answers. Use that 1 minute. Don't say, oh, this is quite easy, and then you jump right into it like that. You will not be able to pull your thoughts together. And it is very, very essential that you pull your thoughts, you pull your information, you pull everything together. Let them hang together brilliantly. Let them be well anastomosed and present it to your examiner in such beautiful manner. That is how to go about that. So your first minute, your 1 minute that you should use to jot your answers down. Don't just pick, oh, this is it. I'm to discuss about my flight to Dubai, and you just jump right into it. You will not, you won't prepare. You will be disorganized, and so your words will be, you'll be picking them from here and there. You will go from Z, you will go to S, from S you come back to C. It won't be organized, you won't be orderly, and you need some degrees of orderliness to win the hearts of your examiner and to show the examiner that you can push to band 9. In fact, when you have started not impressing yourself, it will be very difficult for you to impress the examiner. So my counsel will be for you to use that 1 minute. Put those jottings down. What do you want to start with? What do you want to say? You don't have to write in so long sentences. Just jot them in shorthands and then come back to them as you are making your discussion. Also, you must ensure that you use linking words. Your words should not be put in different arenas. Have good transitions. Well, I've always loved working in the banking industry. That is what you've always loved to. But unfortunately, I couldn't because I did not study commercial courses, commercial subjects in my secondary school days. I choose, or my parents choose for me to become a nurse. Honestly, I started training as a nurse, and I would say I never enjoyed it till this very moment. So I've been practicing in trying to ensure that I make my patients comfortable. But I think in the nearest future, if I'm to select a profession for myself, I will be an aeronautical engineer. Give me some minutes. I need to drink. Baby girl, go to hand. Let's go to hand. Honey, dance now. Honey, why is my friend not watching something? Let her watch something. Jasper. Ẹ mójú táwọn àbúrò yìí nìfẹ́ kán wá sísàlẹ̀ tí màá fi ṣe tán. Mójútó ọmọ yẹn nìfẹ́ kó wá síbí tí màá fi ṣe tán. Oh, sorry, my people. So sorry to have gone away. I had a visitor. Yeah. So ensure that you use appropriate linking words. Learn not to use just hand and but and because alone. I'm sure we discussed that. Learn to use like the word however, notwithstanding, furthermore, firstly, or to begin with, or to begin. Conclusively, in conclusion, in summary, all those things. You can bring all those things together to make your works beautiful. So learn to do that. Learn to use linkers, cohesive words. Learn how to use them. Also, you should also know how to paraphrase. Learn to paraphrase. Ensure that you paraphrase when it is necessary. When you are picking your topic, you need to paraphrase. While you continue, you used to use words that will show that you are still in that particular discussion and they are still showing that like we discussed the other time, when you are talking about building, when you are talking about farming, you are talking about tractors, you are talking about the farmers, you are talking about fertilizers, you are talking about weeds, you are talking about the plants, you are talking about seedlings, you are talking about fruits, you are talking about harvest and harvesting. Anybody who is hearing you saying such words knows that you are talking about farming. So you should know the words that should come around as you continue in that discussion. So learn how to paraphrase. It is very, very essential. It will make your work beautiful and impressive. Also, when you've done your 1 minute preparation for your part 2, ensure that you stay on your discussion for at least 2 minutes. If the examiner stops you, it possibly means that you've exceeded the time or you've performed really well that the examiner is happy with you. In most situations, when your examiner stops you and asks and push to another question, it's possibly you've exceeded the time or you've so much impressed the examiner within that short period. If it is not up to that 2 minutes in that long term, that the examiner is comfortable with you. The examiner is happy that your vocabulary is fine. He's happy that your grammatical ranges and accuracies are top-notch. Your lexical resources, your examiner is happy with them. Then what will the examiner want to trouble you for? There's nothing essentially they want to trouble you for. So they are happy with you to just crack on, to just continue what you are doing. So they may likely just stop you at that point in time. Then yeah, I use the word with, I know. Sorry for guys who are not Nigerians, because we use the word with for plants that they are not plants, they are the ones we don't want to grow within our agricultural environment. Like if you've planted some things and you have other things that are not welcome in that farm that are growing with the plants, the ones you've planted, they are weeds. So they are not the weed you guys are thinking of, because I know some people are thinking marijuana, some people are thinking cocaine. So that's not the weed we are talking about, Mr. or Mrs. Beats Berserker. Okay? So that's that about that anyway. So ensure you should use that 2 minutes. If they do not stop you, just keep talking. Keep talking till your examiner says it's fine, it's okay. Or the examiner might stop you by saying that's fine. The examiner might not say it's fine. The examiner might just bring in another question to you entirely. In that sense, you have to drop the one you were talking or discussing about and face the new one that your examiner wants you to speak about. And also, don't say this question is too easy and you now push the question, I mean your cue card, back to your examiner. That would be very, very rude of anyone. And honestly, if I'm the examiner, no matter how fair I may want to be, of course they are not sent there to mark fairness, but some things do not really make sense. Like, you've been given the cue card, during your preparation you will have the cue card, during your preparation you will have a pen to write with, during your in that part too, the first part, that during that individual long term you'll be given a paper to write on, and your examiner has given that to you. You now return it that you don't need it. No, it's not good. That's not, you're not being courteous enough. The person might not want to, yeah, the person will not fail you if you don't fail yourself, but then you've at least you do some level of respect for yourself during that test. Anyway, and also, one of the things you must do is to ensure that you do jot your answers in that long term. Jot it down once you've been given your script, what to write in. Jot them down, because you are allowed to look through that when you are doing your speaking. So if you are about getting out of your depth, you can quickly look at another point that you have there and put another point and start defending that. You can refer to that your notes all through the process of speaking in that part 2 of your speaking test. You should also ensure that if the examiner does not take your cue card away from you, keep your cue card on you till you are done. But in most situations, your examiner would likely have taken the cue card back when you have finished your 1 minute of preparation. You should also ensure that you do discuss the two sides of argument. When you have an opinion to defend, it will be much more easier, more robust, make your work fleshy if you are able to pick the discussion from this side, then let the one you agree with, let it supersede the one you do not agree with. Ensure that you do expand your answers, and you can expand your answers by using appropriate transitional words, using appropriate linkers, and using appropriate examples. So those are the ways you can expand your answers. You can expand your answers by telling stories. So when you want to tell stories, you can say, for example, and you can say, for instance, you can say it happened sometimes ago. You understand? Put those things that will make the work you are doing there bigger, and have better weight with your examiner. Thank you very much. Useful plant product on useful plant products. Okay, yeah, weed is waste grass. Thank you, Basak. So weed is waste grass. So it's not the weeds some people might have been thinking about. So ensure that you speak when you've been asked to speak. Speak. Don't just sit down there without doing anything. Like, yeah, you can also, or you must also clarify. You are allowed to clarify if the question your examiner gives you. Like, if your examiner says, have you ever seen weeds before, like what I said here and was causing some so now you can talk about that yeah, I've seen weeds before because my father was a maybe a petty farmer or a small scale farmer. So my father was a small scale farmer, and so I grew up in the village helping my parents to go to the farms to do some farming. And so while there, we do discover that after planting the our seeds or the seedlings, while they were growing, you still see some waste or unuseful plant products or waste grasses that used to, or plants that used to grow along with them, as they too made efforts as to grow, as they were trying to make efforts to grow. And so we had to do some weedings. We have to remove them before they would injure those plants, or they would pose harms to those plants that we originally planted. So you can talk about things like that. Put examples and then expand, expatiate, then you'll be good to go. If you are getting out of your depth, use examples. And that is why we do tell people here that you must be able to think on your feet when it comes to IELTS. Think on your feet, because you just face a question that you've never seen before. There are things, or maybe that there are things that are common, but you never expected someone would ask you. Like, I would say I was thrown off my balance because my first question was, have you used mirror, or do you use mirrors? And I was like, what will I now say about mirrors? And of course, we use mirror every time now and then. But then someone who was a physics student could have pulled so many things together. Talk about this kind of lens, the other kind of lens, what they do. And they will be saying lenses here and lenses there. And you now talk about the image that will be projected, the reflection that will be shown, and all those things and all those things. You can do so many things with that mirror. But then if it comes so, because to me it was sort of abstract. I wasn't expecting anything about mirror. And that was what those guys will say, your part one will be like your everyday life. It will be like the things you normally do every day, that we just do them, that we don't pay any special attention to them. So be ready to think on your feet so that you will be very, very fine. And yeah, we should now go to the don'ts. If there's anything I love to say, don't use vulgar languages, don't use gutter words, don't use dirty words, don't use languages that belongs to those people who are of the those people who say dirty things. Don't curse people. Don't come there and come and say, if not for the not to do well so person who's been our community leader for the past 5 years, if not for the not well to do, if not for the don't do that, and don't body shame anyone. Oh goodness. And don't body shame anyone when you are putting your arguments together or your discussion together during your IELTS examination. It's not going to help you. It will just piss the examiner, and the examiner will not be happy with you. Because in most situations, when you see IELTS, whether it is writing, whether it is speaking, reading, or listening, they don't normally deal with things that are of community, that are causing community distresses. So you will not see them to come and say, you should discuss whether it is good for someone who was born a girl to want to be a man. You will not see such questions. You will not see them coming for you to say, to discuss something like abortion should not be legalized or it should be legalized. No, they will not come around with such questions. They will not now come and tell you to discuss something like war in so place is good and is not good in so place, or terrorism is this and is that. You will not hear all those things. You will not read all those things in IELTS. You rather see things like maybe some archaeological discoveries, or maybe some new discoveries in sciences. Maybe they may want you to talk about artificial intelligence, or bring in passages for your reading questions on artificial intelligence and all those things and all those things. So you should try as much as possible, stay within the confines of the words that will not throw anyone off emotionally. Poppy, will you go to Annie? Okay, dokes. So you shouldn't have reasons to be saying negative words on anyone. Don't use F languages. You don't use such languages. Big D Randy. Okay, how to register. If you go online, you'll be able to register. Thank you. Just pop that on your Google. It's going to show you what and where to do that. All right. And so you should not over agree with the question. If your examiner asks you this, you are there to bring in your opinion, because if you just want to over agree with him and your position is against what he's thinking, it may be very difficult for you to develop your points and argue it through and through. Girl, what are you after? I've got water here, darling. You want to come for some? Yeah, you go get Annie. So, don't go with rude faces to your examination hall. Hey, girl, I'll give you that.
It's a water.
Bye. Go to Annie. So, don't go there to be rude. You know, the other time we talked about one baba that is bald and you can't see any hair on his head. Give it to Lolly. So you shouldn't go there and see that your examiner has no hair anywhere on the head and you start laughing hysterically, honestly. If I'm the examiner, if IELTS does not allow me to fail you, I will think about how you will come back to write that test, honestly, if you do that to me, because you failed the test of courtesy and nobody shaming me. So you shouldn't go there to look down on your examiner, whether they look much younger than your granddaughter. It doesn't matter. That person is sitting on that seat at that particular point in time for a purpose for you, about you. And it's all about your money that you've paid and your time you spent preparing for that test and the projection, your big picture for booking for that test. Also, don't go there to worry about your examiner's face. Are they smiling at you? Are they frowning at you? You are not there for passion parade, my people. For passion parade, you are there to defend the English you say you can speak so that they score you and you get going. Also, don't hide your face when you are discussing with your examiner. Don't be doing this way, covering your eyes every minute. No, if you can't, there are some people that can't look other people in the eyeball, especially if if they are strange to them, or especially if they are to give them points or scores. If you can't do that, you can look sideways, you can look on top, you can look on the side cheek, on the side of the person's cheeks, and so you are not looking away completely. If you can't look at them eyeball to eyeball, you are not there to trade eyeballs anyway, but you are there to push in for your. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much. Thank you. I do appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. So, don't overdo it. Don't be too pushy into your answers, into your question. Don't feign accent like the one I'm saying now. I know there are many of my friends here today that struggle to hear one or two words, but interestingly, because most of us are writing the examinations in our home countries, there's every possibility that whoever is our examiner is able to actually hear what we are saying. So you don't need to go there to form accents to now say. I remember in my school of midwifery days, there was that big auntie that used to form accent, and there were and she's an Oyo lady, and the day she would form, she just said contribution. And that's the one that used to say contribution, and we will be laughing. And so please don't go there to feign accent. Say what you want to say. Ensure that you are pronouncing well. Ensure that your consonant, the last consonant in whatsoever you are pronouncing, is coming out clearly. If you can do that, you may not likely have problems with your examiner and the accent. And don't forget, we know we have our peculiarities with our accents, and we said those ones that I used to call Victor. So be mindful of your V converting into F when you are doing this test. You have to be very, very intentional about getting your pronunciation correctly when you are doing your speaking test. Why? It's because if you don't, you may end up altering the meaning of what you want to say. In our WhatsApp class, someone said something the other time, and I said the have that the person said sounded like she was saying half. And so now, if the person was in a discussion and was now saying and so I told my brother, you can have it, whereas they wanted to say, maybe they possibly wanted to say you could have it, and I told my brother you could have it. but I told my brother you could half it. You know, half is now different. No, girl, you are not allowed, please. You are not allowed. You are not allowed. Go to Annie, go and watch Pepper. Tell Annie I said you should. No, you are not allowed. Sorry, darling.
Monkey.
Okay, let's go and watch Monkey. Annie Wura. Mo ní kó mójútó ọmọ yìí, ó tún ti sọ̀kalẹ̀ wá sọ́dọ̀ mi, ṣé ò gbọ́rọ̀ ni? Ó lóun fẹ́ Monkey. Put on the heater. Oh yeah, go and wash one. Put on the heater, please, and close the door. It's so close, too cold. Sorry, it's my toddler. I told her she can't appear here. She wants to appear here. So, yes. So when you use half, it's like dividing into two equal parts. Whereas they wanted to say the person could have it, like collect it, possess it. So if you use the wrong pronunciation, you may just end up changing the entire meaning of what you are saying. And if you change the meaning and it doesn't make sense to in the context of the discussion, then you reduce your score. So that's why it is very important that we know how to pronounce our words appropriately. And so, yeah, I would say you should not memorize your answers because there could be tweaks here and there for the question you will be given. So if you've memorized your answer, you get there, you faint, your brain fails you, you have brain fog, then you will not be able to defend what you've come there to defend. Don't drink into your examination hall because you have stage fright or because you can't face people. It's better you look at the sideways of their head, their head, look above their head, or it's even better you look a bit down, or if you go with goggle or your glasses and you sort of like you are looking at your paper, it's better that way than you going drunk and you get there, you don't know what to say again, or you get there, you are saying rubbish, you are saying what is not in consonance with the theme of your discussion. Yeah, you can join our WhatsApp group, please. You may drop your email on the chat box. We reach out to you on how you can join us. So it's quite easy that way. So don't memorize your answers. Don't also translate your words. Because some of us, most of us, we come from places where English are not our first languages. There is that tendency where you get the question, you first want to take it back to your language, local language, before you bring it back to English. And then while doing that, you now be saying, some people do say those words out to the examiner, and like me saying, and I wanted to say, possibly sit down there, don't go there. It's not going to work, please. So please ensure that when you are doing this translation, when you are doing this examination, you don't start bringing in your local languages or local dialect, except if the examiner asks you. Like I was asked during my own examination, if I have any local game that I play, and I said yes, I do engage in. I tried to give some examples, but the woman now insisted that I give a name of a local game that the people around me do play. Then I had to mention Ayo. That is the marble. Is it marble now? I think Arin is the marble. But you know that Ayo, some of us do know them, that you have to put in 4 inside the mud or wooden holes, made 6 wooden holes made here and there. So I mentioned it and she nodded her head. So she requested for it. I did not just go for it because I was having drought of words that I wanted to use. I had to use it because she requested of me to give that to her. So I think don't be afraid to ask your examiner to repeat their questions, If you do not get, or you did not get what the examiner said, ask them to please kindly say it politely. Could you kindly repeat? Could you kindly let me know, because I didn't get what you just said. It's not like the person just finished, you didn't, I just said, you said, please, let's put some level of respect. Let's accord some levels of respect to that person that is sitting on that seat for that particular time that we are writing our test. And your examiner doesn't necessarily need to engage in the small talks with you. So don't let that piss you off or push you out of your calm state. So if normally when you get there, they should chat with you briefly so that they can calm your nerves. But occasionally, some examiners don't do it. Some examiners just pick your ID card, present your ID card, depending on the mood they are. If it's someone that the girlfriend just gave them the girlfriend just dumped that person that money, the person will not even be smiling with everybody. So don't expect that the examiner is there to laugh with you. They have the yardsticks with which to measure your English. Just go on and defend the yardsticks. Defend yourselves along the yardsticks that has been presented to him, and just do your work and go. If you've done everything that you should do, and you were very sure that you've done very well, but your results now came out on nice, then you call for a remark. In that instance, there's every possibility that it's not the same examiner that will mark it again, that will assess you. But if you haven't put in your best, then it becomes very difficult for you to call for a remark. And let me say a few things here. This happened to people who were my friends. I'm sure if they happen to listen to this again, they will just smile. One was my classmate, the other one was a year junior to me. When the one who was a junior to me in school, a year junior to me, had her examination, she came back and told me that the length was too much. I told her, you're not likely going to pass that test. If your examiner is struggling to allot to you good scores, in most situations, they want you to stretch further. And so if you are spending more than 40 minutes on that seat, there's every possibility, two possibilities. And in most situations, this is the one that comes with the highest percentage. You are not impressing the examiner. If you are impressing the examiner, your lexical resources fine, your grammatical range and accuracy good, your pronunciation top notch, and your vocabularies fine, fluency in place, the person really has got nothing to be troubling you about. Like I said, if you sit with Dr. Agbele Oba in our laboratory, speaking laboratory, because he's a PhD holder in English language, linguistics, and structures or whatsoever, he can tell you within 5 minutes your ability. You are a band 9 candidate, you are a band 7 candidate, you are a band 5 candidate. You need to adjust here and there. He will be very much on point to tell you that. And these IELTS examiners have been trained same way too. And many of them too were possibly or are still possibly English language lecturers, tutors here and there. So they are good, they know what they are doing. So you can't feign it, you can't fake anything with them at all. So it is very, very essential you going on along. So if you are with that examiner and your speaking was 16 minutes, 17 minutes, 18 minutes, I can as well say if you are going for 7, you should probably book another test. And if it's online test and you may be likely preparing for one skill retake, so that if speaking is the only one that gives you distress, you can just pick the speaking again. And another one, that was what happened to that, my friend. And really, to be fair, to tell you, this is someone we are very close until today. Someone we sleep in each other's room, sleep on each other's bed. Somebody we were so close, we were living in the same house. That was how factual I could be with her. And she really had to go back and write that examination again. In the 4, 5, 6 years of teaching IELTS, we've had so much experiences that we can say this is going to likely end up this way. The second one, That one was my classmate. And same school. She came back from my examination. She said the examiner was just frowning, that the test was just too fast. She did not understand though. Please, so I should come and tell her what will happen. I said, okay, you did this, you did part one, part two, part three, but the speed was much. The examiner was comfortable with you, you will pass. And she came back, she passed. She actually passed. She had 7 in all her modules, and that she did not even need 7 in writing. And she had 7 in all the modules anyway. And that was how it was. Now let me tell you this. This is a situation where if your time was really long with your examiner, you might still end up with very good score. If you are telling the examiner something nice, something interesting, and all the yardsticks of measuring your English test are in good place. Like when I wrote my test in 2017, I could remember a guy that went into that examination hall, and 2 people. One was telling a story during the test, and and when the time had finished, when you've completed your time, the examiner will switch off their speaker. We've discussed all those things before. And the examiner switched off the speaker and just told the candidate, can you please complete the story? The story was so interesting. And that was why we said, and Dr. Agbile Obadu say, you should be very creative. Be able to think on your feet. Be creative. If you are creative, you are winning the heart of your examiner. You can just keep on speaking and the examiner wants to listen. So you have to train yourself to the extent that your examiner will be ready to listen. It's not like you have to go there with confidence, but you are not just going there speaking odo rubbish with confidence. No, you are there dishing out stuffs with good English, with good grammatical flow, fluency, good control, good concordance. Lexical resources are all in right pegs in the, the square pegs in the square holes, or round pegs in the round holes, everything matching well. Honestly, you will come out brilliantly. And that's all I can just wish you in this academy. Dr. Agbile Oba will be meeting you guys tomorrow. You won't see me till Wednesday. And when I come back on Wednesday, we are most likely going to start with our vocabulary drills, because we want you to be ready for your test on all fronts. We want you to be ready with how you speak. We want you to be ready with your reading. We want you to be ready with your reading skills. We want to be ready with your task 1 academic writing skills. See graph, interpret them at the tip of your fingers. Within 16 minutes, you finish writing. You are using the remaining 4 minutes to just dot your I's and cross your T's and put punctuations in appropriate places. And your letter writing general task 1, you are putting them in appropriate places. We want you to listen, and once you are listening, you are grasping what is being said, and you are filling in your is it table in listening. You could have table, you could have fill in the gaps, you could have put in ABC, you could have match words with whoever says them, and we want you to perform exceptionally brilliantly. And so that's what we are preparing you for. Yeah, put your email address, or I'll release our email address to this platform when we are done. You can reach out to us with your number, WhatsApp number, because we kickstart things on WhatsApp, then we come here so that people can have access after the discussions in the classes. Then we come back here to do the discussion, and we go back to that WhatsApp classes to do our family meeting. So I wish you guys well. And if you are preparing for your test, if we haven't completed our, we haven't finished with our timetable, reach to us one-to-one, so that we can see how we can help you, because it gladdens our heart, our joy are in when you do exceptionally well in your test. And now that British Council, IDP have increased their fee, we don't want people to keep going back to the examination hall. If you've done well, if your score did not come, if your score does not come out well, you can call for reassessment. You know that. We have someone in Dubai then, that sister still used to come back to say hello to me, like 2 years back. She has written so many tests. She had written many tests. she was directed to us, and we pick it up. Dr. Agbele Oba assessed that in the lab. She did extra training. We do extra training. You have us here this month because this is our 4th year. This is the month that this academic clock 4 years teaching and injecting greatness into people through IELTS training. And so we've decided to make the May trainings free for all. We don't know whether it's going to continue till June. We see how it goes, but at least whatever impact we are able to make in May should be indelible marks on the life of people. Yeah, so that sister in Dubai did that test eventually, and then she went there, she wrote the test. They gave her 6 in writing. We disagreed. She called for remark. She came back with 7, and she was extremely glad because she was trying to use it to process registration as an internationally educated nurse for USA. And so she got what she needed. So please, if you are having troubles in any of the modules, reach back to us. I wish everyone well, and I pray that your aspirations to get the best stuff out of your life, the Lord will make it come into fruition. Thank you, guys, and we love you at Unified IELTS. See you. Bye. Yeah, come. I'll put the links there. I'll put our WhatsApp number. I'll put our email address on the platform so you can drop all the questions you have and we'll respond to you. Thanks, guys. Bye. I'm just like 4 bar left.